Hi, and welcome to Narrative Theory, Healing Through Storytelling. Our presenters today are going to be Audrey Doak, Amanda Ferris, Cynthia Brice, and Katie Rasmussen. So a little overview for narrative therapy. Narrative theory centers on the idea that people communicate about their lives through stories or narratives, and our interpretation of life events are demonstrated through these. It's concerned with how society changes our interpretation or experiences, and the concepts of narrative theory are organized into narrative therapy. Narrative therapy believes change occurs by exploring how our interpretation and language is used to construct and maintain problems, and thus creating an alternative story that serves us better. And that's from Langer, 2015.
So there are four main practice principles of narrative theory. The first principle is that people communicate about their lives through the process of storytelling or through narratives and verbal and written accounts and through artwork. Principle two is the process of sharing a story allows storytellers to attach meaning to their experiences, which can itself be therapeutic. Principle three is due to storytelling involving appraising of events or attaching meaning to these experiences, helping clients alter the meaning they attach to these experiences can be beneficial. Principle four is dominant narratives can impede potential. Dominant narratives are the messages constructed by society, so through socialization. Externalization helps clients view their experiences in a more liberating way. Some important concepts in narrative therapy is, like I just said, dominant narrative. These are the messages constructed and relayed by society. And a lot of times these socializations come through our stories and can really impact the meaning that we bring to our stories. Multi-storied is multiple interpretations of life experiences. Externalization is the process of situating a problem outside of the person. And then appraisal is the interpretation of an experience. So in summary, narrative theory involves identifying the dominant story in the appraisal, deconstructing the dominant story by focusing on the parts that contradict, parallel, or intertwine with each other, externalizing the problem outside of the person, and then the final step of reauthoring the story.
So narrative techniques are most effective in direct practice at a micro level. The guiding theory and corresponding strategies can assist with developing the therapeutic relationship in a one-on-one capacity, working with children through clients at the end of life. Next slide. Research, which will be cited at the bottom of this page, has been conducted using narrative therapy with women experiencing domestic violence, ex-offenders and those in recovery, and college-age Latino immigrants. A technique called narrative exposure therapy saw positive results in alleviating PTSD symptoms in refugees as well. Recent articles in the International Journal of Narrative Therapy and Community Work indicate that narrative practice can be integrated into group substance abuse treatment and can also be effective in improving stress levels of spouses with addicted husbands. This 2018 study concluded the Iranian women that participated in their research project showed a reduction of psychological stress based on the pre and post testing of the study. Diverse client systems are a specialty of narrative therapy and range from children and young people to older adults in Erikson's 8th stage of human development. Depression is often misdiagnosed in this population due to a compounding of physical deterioration and loss of social supports. Narrative techniques can offer a unique format for exploring the trajectory of their life and providing an opportunity for life review.
The strengths of narrative therapy: the client is in control. It's their story, they've lived it, and they have their opportunity to share their story. They can share as much or as little of their story as they feel comfortable doing so. The responsibility of the professional is to glean information and understanding from the issues and problems that the client is trying to explain, and doing so in a non-threatening way. This is from Langer and Leitz. This increases the understanding and the part of the counselor as well as the client. As they're feeling heard and valued, they're able to share a little bit more about their story. thus improving the substance involved. The counselor then works with that, that information to assist the client in seeing alternative perspectives, allowing them to modify their story, thus leading through the healing process. The Australian Institute, next slide, please, sorry. The next Australian Institute of Professional Counselors says, if a story can be told, whether in writing, drawing, music, play, or word, narrative therapy likely can be used. Next slide, please. Again, from Langer and Leitz, limitations of narrative therapy. One concern of narrative therapy is that it is not an evidence-based practice, making determining success more difficult. Without a diagnosis, narrative therapy also may not be covered for some services. Next slide, please. The role of with diverse client systems, narrative therapy does not play favorites, no matter the age, gender, sex, religion, and ability or disability, race, ethnicity, culture, military, civilian, it doesn't matter. It can be useful for all. It can be used in multiple settings across all levels of social work, individuals, families, communities, and corporations as well. Next slide, please. In a study with counselors working with Latino population, they found that asking specific open-ended questions help the students to think more deeply and adjust their story, leading to more understanding and an ability to adapt to their environment while maintaining their cultural strength. That's from Farrell and Gibbons. The next few slides, you'll see the sources that were used to make these slides. Thank you.